Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am really tired this morning. I don't know if it's the tumor or what everything that was going on yesterday. There was a lot that was going on. I don't want to divulge it because of the privacy issues. But anywho, um, so I have been doing from this book, Bible study, and going through that and reading and everything. We're almost through with this book. So after we get done with this book, I will guess Wednesdays will be reading another Bible unless I find another one that we could, you know, focus on Bible study. Anywho, we are on chapter 11. Chapter 11 title is Freedom to Speak Up. Men and brethren, let me speak freely to you. Acts 2:29. Now this doesn't I feel like this is focused towards women, but it's really not focused. I mean, it could be men as well. I know when I was going over this book probably a couple weekends ago, this chapter to me was a hard chapter with everything that is going on in the world. But let's go ahead and see what we can come up with and jump in. Every woman every woman desires to be heard and to have her words heeded. Tremendous freedom comes to the woman who gives voice to her ideas, feelings, and beliefs, and to the woman who believes she is worthy to be heard. Tremendous satisfaction comes to the woman whose opinion is followed with good results. How much freedom do you have to express your how much freedom do you have to express your ideas, opinions, and feelings? How effective are you in your communication? A key part of speaking up is simply being heard. Marilyn Mayberg knows. The first year Ken and I were married, I was teaching third grade, and Ken was in graduate school. My meager salary paid the rent as well as his tuition. I felt that alone would earn a listening ear from time to time. One evening, as we sat eating our tuna casserole, I made the casual comment that the dog with rabies was back on the playground again. Ken didn't seem to hear me, so I said the principal was bitten as he tried to chase the dog off. It was a horrible sight, especially since the principal started foaming at the mouth this morning during our faculty meeting. Silence. Good morning, Gail. I put my head over Ken's plate and stared into his face, only a few inches from mine, and I could see him trying to swallow a laugh. Marilyn, has it come to this? You have to make up a story about a rabid dog and a principal foaming at the mouth to get my attention. Soberly, I said, I've been reduced to a wild storytelling, and it's your fault. Who knows what I may say to someone who is actually listening to me? Marilyn Meberg. If you aren't being heard today, what are the some potential reasons? Um, my reason is sometimes my words, I feel like sometimes my words are, I don't speak plainly. I get mishmashed with my words. But that's just me. Uh, and sometimes get nervous as well when trying to speak my opinion on certain things. But on now today's world, I don't get nervous because especially when I speak to my family, because you don't know how if you're out in public and you're speaking your mind about what things that are going on, you don't know how they feel about certain things. I mean, even with my family, I don't know how they feel about certain things on what is going on in the world, if that makes sense. Yeah, I do feel like the people don't listen to me sometimes. I agree. Um, a key part of speaking up doesn't really involve speaking at all. It means first listening or learning so that when you speak with accuracy and conviction and empathy. The Bible gives important insights into listening and learning as vital aspects of communication. What insights do these Bible patches give us about communication? Proverbs 13, 1 through 3. Okay, look that up real quick. And Proverbs is after Psalms. I know. I think it's before Isaiah. Yep. What was it? 13, 1 through 3. A wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. That is bad. You're about as unorganized as me sometimes, Gail. I feel that Proverbs 13, 1 through 3, that we need to watch what we speak, watch what we say, because people might take it the wrong way, especially nowadays. People are, they just don't want to listen to other people and what other people's opinions. They want everybody to think like them and act like them, but that's just not. God made us individually. I mean, we have our own thoughts. We have our own mind to think things through what's going on. The next verse is Proverbs 15, 1 through 2 and 4. Chapter Proverbs 15, verse 1 and 2. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise used knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poured out the foolishness. And verse 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach of the spirit. A breach in the spirit. I don't know, Gail. I feel this one, the insights to this verse is we should speak truth and shouldn't speak what we don't know about. Which is very, very true. We don't need to talk about things that we don't know about. And we do need to speak the truth. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that some of the things I don't understand, and some of the things I do understand. Let's move on to Proverbs 16:23. That is the next verse. How to do? The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and added learning to his lips. So to me, that verse says we should think before we speak. If that makes any sense. Queen Esther in the Bible was bold in speaking up, and her words saved her people, the Jews, from the death. Before Esther spoke, however, she listened to her relative, Mordecai. When Esther heard distressing stories about Haman's behavior, she sent a trusted messenger to Mordecai, asking what and why. Esther 4. I think this is where I got stumped on these questions. I really don't understand. I was going to read, what was it? Esther, but I didn't get with everything going on. She's still not feeling good, Gail. It just all the run around, and feels like I feel like they're giving her the runaround on some aspects of everything that is going on. Let's go to Esther chapter 4. And I don't know exactly where Esther is in the Bible. I have to look at my table of contents. Esther 747. I don't think Esther is not a big chapter. No, it's only 10 chapters. Okay, this is chapter 4. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rended his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud cry and a bitter cry. And it came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate cloth with sackcloth. But in every province whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved. She sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther for Hamanach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai, to know what it was and why it was. So Haddish went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them. Also he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them, and to show it unto Esther, and to declare unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, to make requests before him to her. Well, I think the questions start right there. How did Mordecai respond to Esther's request for information? I don't think, I know I read this before. I'm going to finish reading the chapter. Again, Esther spake unto Hadad, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of this to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. And then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall there enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place, but thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who doth know where thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast eat for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days and night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. That the question is, how did Mordecai respond to Esther's request for information? He denied her. She had to repeat herself several times. That's what I got out of the chapter. I don't know if y'all got that or not, but I feel like sometimes as a woman, people don't listen to us, don't take stock in us because we are women. That's just how I feel. Identify a situation about which you would like to know what and why. Um, Okay. I can identify about a situation what you would like to know, what and why. Um, Hold on a second. What and why? Healthcare system. That's why is it so hard to get into the doctor? Why? I mean, what? I know there's a lot of people. I get that there's a lot of people in this area. Um, but what? Well, I guess this is more wise than what. Um, but what? I, my brain is out of fog right now. I'm trying to think of a situation where I wanted to know what and why. Um, okay. What can make our healthcare system better? That would be a good deal to let people, especially the ER. I mean, you go to the ER, 15-hour wait. That is how long my mom had to wait, 15 hours. What if the blah blah is so contagious, why hasn't everybody caught it? But I don't want to make this political. I don't. So I'm just gonna go on. From whom you might from whom might you get the information you desire? I'm going on the whom, the what and why of why the healthcare. Um, I don't know. Like I said, this right here is where I got stumped when I was studying this before I did this. Um, that's where I got stumped. I guess where might the information you desire on everything that is going on? My information right now is this right here. This right here, the Bible. Um, that's why I've been trying to dig deeper into this. I'm gonna go on. How and when a woman speaks is as critical as what a woman says. Proverbs 15:23b says, "A word spoken in due season, how good it is." Is it? How good it is. Esther certainly knew this to be true. She responded to Mordecai's what and why information by telling him that she could not see the king anytime she wanted. She needed to be summoned into the king's presence, and he hadn't sent her in 30 days. Mordecai responded with urgency, advising her that she must not remain silent or she would perish along with all other Jews. Esther again sent word to Mordecai, asking him to have all the Jews in Shusha fast and pray for her, and telling him that she and her maids would do the same. So I guess I read that wrong. Um, Mordecai did listen to a point. I mean, he was trying to tell her, no, you if you come before any time. Um, Identify a situation in which timing and methodology was critically important in conveying information and what happened. Okay, I can identify a situation right now on that. Um, well, it goes back to when we had our son. I'm sorry about the movement. We had our son was on hospice. That means he wasn't able. He was 24-hour care basically. So, and he wasn't supposed to live 6 weeks. So once we got hospice back on towards the end of his life, the last 6 months or so, um, we had medicine that, you know, to give him to kind of ease him into the passing. Well, there was one time, and he was blue. He would just do that right out of the blue. And we had a nurse there, and she was like, well, we need to give him that medicine. We need to give him that medicine. And I'm like, no, it's not time. And she called up her boss, the DON of the home health agency. And I had to argue with the home health agency. They wanted to give him that medicine. I had called hospice nurse and let her know what was going on. And she said, you have every right. It wasn't time for him to have that medicine. That medicine, Versed, that was the name of the medicine. It was just more for our comfort than it was his comfort. But I had to argue with her. No, it wasn't time to give Cody the Versed. But the nurse was wanting to get it. I'm lucky. I thank God that I was there so I can argue, because if not, we was able to have him a few more days, a few more weeks per se. Um, what factors go into discerning the right time to speak up and the right methods to use? I think the factors in that would be the situation. I mean, some situations, you gotta speak up on some stuff, and other situations you need to be quiet and listen. It depends on the situation, I do believe. What might be gained by having prayer support from other people as you prepare to speak up? Um, Prayer support to me would be on if you're preparing to speak up about a situation, is to help you have have God on your side. For one, you got to have God on your side whenever you speak up. And number two, to support you and having people that think like you in order to be able to speak up, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. Proverbs 25:11 says, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. This has great depth meaning. Apple, like a pomegranate, a fruit rich in taste, texture, and beauty. The seeds of a pomegranate are a symbol of collective wisdom and truth. Gold, an extremely valuable substance. In Bible times, small amounts of pure gold was often molded into various shapes, setting, context. Silver, a valuable substance often used as a means of exchange in business transactions. This verse could be translated: a well-chosen word is like a beautiful and fruitful expression of truth, molded for maximum effectiveness in the context of an important conversation. When might it be important to craft what you say very carefully in order to have maximum effectiveness? Um, Anytime you speak out. Like yesterday, I was, belly aching per se to a nursing staff about the situation, what's going on with my mom. It felt like she was getting a runaround, and it just aggravated me with everything, especially everything that went on yesterday. Um, it was it was mind-boggling what is going on in our healthcare. Um, there's lots of things that I have seen within the last month that are not right with everything that is going on. Um, so I want to you need to make sure that for sure that you're ready to speak up and what acknowledge and research what you're speaking up about, so you know exactly how to say it, and pray about it, and pray about what you're about to say. And you know I'm sorry if I'm mismatching my words and my thoughts are just running rapid. Are you facing a situation today in which every word is important? Yes. Yes. On this, I'm going to scoot up a minute. On this, this Bible study, yes, yes, yes. Because speaking out on what is going on in today's world is very hard. I got to watch what I say, especially on this format on YouTube. But it's hard to speak about certain things on this format or even on Facebook or anything anywhere else, even out in public, which is very aggravating sometimes. I mean, people aren't allowed to speak their opinion on certain things, and it's very, I don't know, it just sometimes it's very overwhelming, and having to, like you're like like you can't say what you want to say. Um and I don't know what to and that's in Queen Esther's first message to her husband. The king was nonverbal one. She put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the king's palace to catch the king's eye. See Esther 5:1. When he summoned her, she invited him to a banquet in her private chambers. Esther 5:1. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house. Over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne, and the royal house over against the gate of the house. That was 5:1. In what ways are nonverbal messages important when you speak up about important matters? It depends on how your stance is, if you're speaking up on important matters, and whether your nonverbal cues sometimes can speak volumes more so than your actually what's coming out of your mouth, if that makes sense. Um, in what ways was Esther's banquet a nonverbal form of communication? What messages did the banquet likely convey? Um, I don't know. I haven't read Esther, and I admit I don't know on some of this, and some of this is that I'm speaking. I feel like I'm mishmashing my words on this. Um, I really I need to dig deeper into the Bible to know Esther better, to know this chapter better. We might end up coming back to this Bible study because I need to read Esther better and to read the Bible better, because some of this I don't know. Um, what are the reasons? What are some of the reasons it might be important to arrange a private time to speak up? Um, to not let the public know per se on healthcare. If you got to go up the chain of command, and usually when you go up the chain of command of any job or anything, wherever you speak out, um if you're having a problem at work, you need to what do I want to say, go up the chain of the command. Like, you don't first talk to the deal end of anything. You go talk to um yeah, 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 yeah. That is very true. Very true. So you got to, have a private time to speak up, because sometimes there could be harsh words said. But you need to keep your cool though when you're speaking up. The way in which we communicate often speaks louder than what we say. Words spoken in anger, bitterness, hatred, or resentment sting, often with lasting, ongoing pain. That is very true. That is just what I said. You need to be calm when you're speaking out on certain things. Those who speak in loud, angry, or cynical ways often are heard, but not with the best results. How do you feel when someone speaks to you in a loud, angry, or cynical voice? I feel this small. That is how I feel. I feel this small. So, and it's easy with healthcare the way it is. I know I'm dwelling on healthcare. I'm sorry about that. But the way healthcare is, the way the healthcare system is, good morning, free handling man, Nisi. But it's hard. You don't. It makes you feel this small when somebody is speaking to you loud and angry in a cynical voice. Uh, as a former retired nurse, disabled nurse, the healthcare, it just, when you have to wait, you get aggravated by having to wait to be seen in the ER. You get aggravated with everything that is going on right now in healthcare. It is so mind boggling on the things that I have seen in healthcare. Um, Helping my mom deal with everything that is going on with her. It just, you got to keep calm about everything, and you got to, if a person is yelling and screaming at you in a, you know voice, you need to keep calm and not yell back at them, and pray for them as well. At the second feast that Queen Esther provided for her husband the king and his wicked adviser Haman, the king invited Esther to make a petition. She began her request by saying, "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given at my petition and my people at my request." And that is Esther 7:3. Esther went on to tell the king that if the issue involved only slavery, she would not have brought it up, but since the issue involved life and death, she felt she had to speak. The king asked who would dare kill Esther and her people. She boldly named her enemy, and that's Esther 7:4 through 6. What tone of voice do you believe Esther used as she made her request? I think Esther had a tone of voice that was quiet, um, and calmly, and she spoke calmly, and she spoke with confidence. Um, Sometimes you can have a voice of confidence, and it conveyed confidence that she knew she was what she was talking about, and she was calm, and she was not angry. She didn't speak no anger words, which, to me, if I was in that situation, I think I would probably speak anger words. I really, or got louder in my voice, but I don't know. We don't know until we're in those situations. In communicating, why is it important to state precisely outcome you desire and to speak in a way that demonstrates respect for another person's authority? You need to speak calmly, which is sometimes it's very, very, very hard to do. Um, and communicating, why is it important to have pure motives? Attempts at manipulation always seem to become obvious the longer a person with impure motives speaks. Can you recall an example of this in your experience? Yes, but I cannot recall. I know there's been times where I felt like I was uh, manipulated. I'm sorry about pronouncing this word. I just can't do it this morning for some reason. But there are times, there are things that I felt like I was manipulated. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that word right. Anyway, we're gonna go on. James is a book in the New Testament that has a great deal to say about the ways in which we are to communicate as Christians. Read James 33, verse 2 through 12. The passage is something like a code of conduct for godly communication. Having a good code of conduct for communication can be very beneficial to you in the pursuit of your dreams and purpose. Good communication can make your path easier, your journey faster, and your achievements greater. List several messages that you consider to be absolutely necessary for you to communicate now or in the future. Next to each item you list, write down how you believe you should communicate that message. Yep, yep, yep. You could get more hummingbirds with sugar than with vinegar. Amen to that. Ponder and pray. Pray is talking things over with God. What are you feeling the need to talk over with God when it comes to the way you speak to others? When you voice your ideas and opinions and what you believe to be important to say. And that is the end of that one. And I am sorry I did not do very good on that chapter. On that I am truly sorry about that. I'm truly sorry. I feel like I just didn't do very good with that one. I truly apologize for that. So I know I'm over 30 minutes, but I want to read at least one of Deuteronomy. And it is a long chapter. Oh no, it's not. We'll read chapter 16 of Deuteronomy, and then we'll pick up chapter 17 tomorrow. Observe the month of Abba, and keep thy Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abba the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou comest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou comest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days, neither shall there be anything of the flesh which thou hast sacrificed. The first day at even remained all night until the morning. Thou mayst not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Good morning, Coffee Angel Crafts. But at the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou comest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt turn into the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 days shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginst to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of the weeks unto the Lord thy God, with a tribute of a freewill offering at thy hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. And thou shalt observe the feast of the tabernacle 7 days after that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in the feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless all shall bless thee in all thy increase and all the works of thy hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and the feast of weeks, and the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he had given thee. Judges and officers shall thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift for a gift, thou blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous. That which is altogether just, that which is altogether just shall follow, that thou mayst live, and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee, neither shall I set thee up any image which the Lord thy God hateth. So I am going to stop right there. And that will be the end of today's live, the reading and the Bible study. And I apologize, the Bible study, I feel like I didn't do it justice. I truly apologize for that. Because it just, some of the stuff, freedom to speak up, that just has me trying not to say certain words on here. I know we need to have it biblical, Christian like, but it's sometimes when speaking up, it's very, very hard to do. So like with every Bible study and every Bible reading I've done, I like to say a prayer at the end. So if you don't mind, bow your heads unless you're driving or working with heavy equipment or anything of that nature. Lord, please be with my mama today. Put your healing hands on her and put your comforting arms around her as well. And Lord, please be with our family today, our whole family, not just those please be with our family today as we lost a loved one. And Lord, please be with all those people in the hospital and at home that are sick or dealing with illness or a death in the family. And Lord, please be with all those people that are in the chat today or will be watching this later. And please let them try to understand my words, what I spoke today, because I felt like it was mismatched today. And Lord, please be with all those ones that don't know you today. Put your healing hands and comforting arms around them as well. And let you be shown to them that you love them. And Lord, I pray for our president, I pray for our country, and I pray for our world. I pray that you show the evil that is going on in this country and in our world. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So I shall see you all later. And have a very blessed day.